Hello everyone, Storm here, and today we're going to be playing some City Skyline, which is a city building simulator game that I've been pretty addicted to for the past 3 to 4 weeks. Probably put in 100 plus hours into it. Anyways, this video is not really going to be live commentary. There's going to be a voiceover in post-production. The video will be sped up as well, and it's most likely because it's hard to do commentary while I'm playing this game. But yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so instead of creating 2 different roads to be a placeholder for my highway, I instead created a roundabout because I think it would be a pretty cool entrance to the first district of my city. Not only that, but because if I did do a highway, it would continue. If I did continue a highway, it would continue on to nothing, because off ahead over there in the bottom of the screen there is a shoreline which leads into the ocean, so it doesn't really go anywhere. Yeah. And anyways, I created these 3 different avenue roads to kind of have the 3 different parts of this district. One of them is going to be for industries. The other one's going to be for residential. Well, the other 2 are going to be for residential areas and commercial. They're kind of both going to be in the same area. Alright, so over here you could kind of see that I'm creating 2 main roads for this district. One of them is being the Avenue Road, and the other one is being the 2-lane road with a left turn lane in the middle. And I do plan on making this mostly grid-like. This is going to be mostly a grid-like style district, but I did add some curvature, as you can see a little bit above the screen. Right now I'm making a bunch of zones. I wanted to make sure that I could have a tile for every spot possible. Of course, that's going to be impossible when I add some curves to the roads. I've actually started using the brush tool instead of the fill-in tool, mainly because it feels like I'm drawing, you know. I want to feel like an artist. No, I'm just kidding. It's because sometimes I want to put different zones. Like later on I'm going to put a commercial zone for the Avenue Road. Right now I am basically making all the necessities, or buying all the necessary stuff like plumbing and electricity. And sometimes it's better to get the coal power plant instead of windmills, because it could be right next to your city, and it doesn't really have to be in a specific spot either. And when you look at the windmills, it tells you what spot of the terrain will have the most wind. And alright, so right here I actually painted the commercial zones on the Avenue Road, and you want to have it on the Avenue Road because it brings in a lot of traffic. I think there's a lot of cars coming to it. There's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people going there, and there's also going to be a lot of trucks delivering goods to it for it to sell. Alright, so this is kind of the part in the video where I start to think that I have to restart the game, because if you can see at the bottom, I'm losing money, and well, I'm in debt and I'm losing money. So I start thinking that I have to restart, but I'm actually about to hit a milestone which will give me money if I hit like 380 people. So you can kind of just see me staring at everything in hopes for it to grow and hopefully hit 380 people. I actually started panicking even more once I saw that there was no water connected, but hey, it all turned out well. I got money, and I connected the water to the industrial area. That was that was pretty intense for me at that moment. Not right now, because I knew that I knew that I was gonna make it. When expanding the industrial area, I created T intersections that would be 20 units apart. You can see here that I'm kind of measuring it, and I want them to be 20 units apart because every 10 units will give you an extra node, and your citizens can only change lanes at nodes, and if I give them the extra one, they'll be able to. And then I added some water pipes along the road because, you know, can't be forgetting to do that. That's really important. Alright, so in this part you can kind of see me messing with the traffic manager mod, President Edition, and it kind of lets me add remove traffic lights, kind of set up the time traffic lights. But right now I'm just kind of making normal traffic lights. And for the roundabout that I did earlier, I made sure that the people who are going on the roundabout has to yield, and for the people that are in the roundabout, they can keep moving and stuff. The one cool thing I find when comparing residential areas to commercial and industrial areas is that they produce almost little to no traffic when it comes to that stuff. And I think it's because when it comes to residential areas, a person only leaves their house like once a day and then comes back once a day, so you're not really expected to see any traffic there. But when it comes to commercials and industrial areas, there's going to be different people coming in and out every for hours throughout the day. I don't know, maybe I'm just being obvious here, but the game simulates that concept very well. And well, now I'm just kind of making a path for this area, because I kind of made a huge gap when I was creating this curved road, and I wanted to kind of fill it in with paths and nature. And then over here I made a little roundabout kind of outside, because it was hard to make it when I was inside that little log path. Had to delete them though, because they were not connected, even though they looked as if they were. And then I connected them. There's these small paths you can connect them through, which is pretty cool. This one was like a really tight fit, but I still managed to make it. And then I did like some decorating with some trees. My favorite tree in this game is I don't even know what they're called, but it's one of those pine wood trees. One that look like Christmas trees, basically. Those ones are cool. And at some point I added a rock, but it deleted the trees. So I had to use the prop tree anarchy, and this one would let me just put it anywhere I like. Alright, so I kind of just skipped ahead to the middle part of when I was creating this plaza for a little commercial zone. This is going to be the main commercial zone, but I put fences around it because I wanted to get rid of the zones that was being created from the outside roads. So then I would be able to fill it in with, I would be able to make zones that are created by the parking lot roads here. And this is an asset, and I've actually been using this asset for quite a while now. I think it makes your cities look a lot more realistic when you see parking lots like these in it. Unfortunately, you have to manually put in the parking spots after you create these parking lot roads, because it doesn't make them for you, which I think can be pretty tedious. But after I was done with the basic part of the plaza, I went ahead and deleted most of the commercial zones, and I added them into the plaza zone over here. And then I deleted the traffic lights that were created by the intersections from the parking lot roads and replaced them with yield signs and giveaway signs for the people that are in the parking lot going into the main road have to yield. And over here you could kind of see that not only is putting the parking spots tedious, but sometimes it could be inconsistent with lining it up with the parking lot road. Then over here you can see me deleting the parking spots on the main road, and it kind of causes the vehicles that were already parked to teleport to the parking lot in the plaza over here. So as my city grew, the milestones were unlocking with the number of citizens that were living in my city right now. I only have 1,900 citizens, but as soon as I hit 2,000 right now, I started to upgrade the roundabout with the 3-lane highway, and this is so that the roundabout would go one way. Unfortunately, the problem was that people coming from the industrial area couldn't use the roundabout to get to the residential and commercial part of the city. They would instead go onto the highway. But right now I'm editing the way the roundabout feeds and takes from the avenue streets, because if they were left like how they were before, they would actually be at a 90-degree angle, which slows them down. And I also added some nodes, those streets in between, so that the people can change lanes. When I'm decorating a roundabout, I don't really have any roundabout centerpieces. I usually just use trees and rocks and a bunch of nature-y stuff to decorate them, but you can see here that I'm using the trees as sort of a fence for the roundabout, and some rocks in the middle just to make it look good. And usually with roundabouts as big as this, I would usually make a pedestrian walk path to go around the whole thing, but for this video I didn't do that. I might actually do that the next time I get on City Skyline. And over here you could see me editing the terrain so that I could put water in it, and I'm using a mod for this one. I forgot what it was, like a ploppable water mod, I think. But when I put it down, I noticed that there was a glitch going on with where the rock is on the left. You can kind of see that it's kind of being blocked, as if there was a hitbox coming from the rock. So what I did was I just deleted it, and it ended up just filling up the rest of the sunken terrain. But there was it did feel empty, so I ended up just putting more smaller rocks. And I also wasn't able to use the brush size larger than single when putting in these smaller rocks for some reason, so I just ended up using the single brush. But yeah, that's basically how I make my roundabouts. There's not really a big roundabout centerpiece that I use. When editing the shoreline of the island, I decided to just put a quay to kind of go along the lines of the outer shore. Most likely because this is a boreal biome, so it's going to be really cold. No one's really going to go to the beach. And then I kind of encountered a problem with this graveyard. The vans are going in it, but there's no one being buried. You can see that there's like 0 people buried, and it's not really solving the issue with my citizens complaining about the dead being at their place. But my solution was to just move it to the main road, and it actually worked. So I think the problem is that it's these roads, the 2-lane roads with a turning lane in the middle. It's not really letting things go by. And then to replace wherever that graveyard was, I just started putting pathways inside the lot and made it look like it was part of the residential areas. And over here you can see me using the traffic manager mod to get rid of some pedestrian crosswalks, because sometimes people don't really see pedestrians as a problem since they're so small, but that's why they don't see it. It's because they're so small and it's hard to see. And sometimes managing where pedestrians can walk through can really help your traffic flow more smoother, but it doesn't solve the problem. And over here I added a crosswalk where there is no intersection, and added a timed traffic light for there to only be a 25-second or a 3-second window for the pedestrians to cross every 25 to 40 seconds. And you could kind of see that it doesn't bother the traffic on the main road, because it's such a low frequency of when pedestrians can walk. And I've also did the same thing for this crosswalk over here. Another mod that I'm using in this save game is the real-time mod, which makes the time a lot more realistic than to have days go by every 3-4 seconds. This one actually follows the day and night cycle. You can see at the bottom left it's 7:28 p.m. on a Sunday, which was actually the same day I was recording this. This also tells me that it's getting pretty late, so I'm afraid that I'm gonna have to end this video here. The rest of the video is gonna kind of be a cinematic camera view of the district that I made so far, and the mod I used for that is the cinematic camera mod. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video as a whole. Well, see ya.